Hi everybody, this is Patrick from Sasquatch in the Wild. So the last video I posted, I retracted. I pulled that one off. And a friend of mine wrote me and said that I should really be careful about what I say about people. And I am no perfect researcher or investigator. I've had my moments of stupidity. Everybody does. Everybody has it. There's no perfect researcher out there. So this attribute of another researcher is me. One of my recent least wonderful moments in my life happened with Jim Brown and Scott Barta from SIR. So we were up at Rob Roy Reservoir, and we were hanging out up there. We spent a week up there. The backstory behind Rob Roy Reservoir is that that beautiful area got hit by a lightning strike in like 2020, and it burned something like 25,250 acres or something like that. Well, at the time, we really didn't know that. We knew that there had to have been some type of fire that happened there, but we weren't sure what it was. So I'll show pictures of our campsite, and this is like a rehash thing, but I never talked about about what happened to me. So, and usually I don't have weird experiences. I have weird experiences, but I don't have bad, insane experiences except for this one night. So, Jim is sleeping under a tarp. It is gigantic tarp. It's open air environment. Open air. I've never done that in my life. I want to, but my luck, I'll have an animal nibble at my fingers or chew on my toes or what have you. It'll probably drive me through the roof. Scott was in a tent, a little, I had one of these tents once. I called it the coffin tent. It's a strange tent, but he was off the ground probably about 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the ground. And then he had layers and layers of stuff. How he got into that tent is beyond me, because he had so many layers of things. And then there was me and my teepee. Now, I was the closest confined to the forest than everybody else was. But the forest was on the sides of Scott and Jim. Just kind of opened up that direction. But I kept hearing for 7 days, I heard things milling around the back of my tent all night long. Just stir crazy. I would get up. I'd have to go bathroom. I'm almost like every 4 hours. I'd have to go outside, do my deal, come back inside. And every time I unzipped the tent and walked out. Now, in the beginning of SIR, when I was part of SIR, Paco would say, "Hey, Patrick, you got to make sure you say, 'Hey guys, I'm coming out, blah, blah, blah,' and you should address it. I need to come out, you go bathroom, I'll go back inside." I don't do that anymore. So when I go out, I just go out. I regardless of, if they're out there, they're out there. If I see them, great. I have no issues with seeing them. But this one night had nothing to do with about me going to the bathroom. It had me laying in there, and I am hearing non-stop screaming, and it's like just insane. Like I got people all around me, just screaming, like these blood curdling screams. I'm just hearing them like bombarding me, and I'm listening to this for almost 2, maybe 3 hours. I'm laying in my sleeping bag, hearing these screams, these like they're dying, that type of sound. It was just bombarding me. And I finally broke down and I went, "Rah!" I just screamed this thing out. It sounded like I got killed. It sounded like someone was just murdering me in my tent. And I let this thing go. I just released all this crazy agony nightmare that was going on. And once I did it, it was all gone. It was gone. All the screams and agony that I was going through, gone like that. And I was like, "What the hell was that?" And Scott said, was that Patrick? And Jim responded to like, yeah, I think that was Patrick. Patrick, are you okay in there? And they were, I was like, yeah. I don't know what took over. I don't know what this was. It was really strange. And I used the term terrified. And it's not necessarily the right term, but whatever was rolling through me at that moment in time triggered a quick emotion on my side, and I released that scream. Jim ended up coming to my tent and coming in and hanging out for the rest of that night. And there was a storm brewing anyway, and if he would have stayed underneath that tent, he would have been soaked to the nines of just being. Because I think the tarp would have failed, and I think it may have failed. There was something with the tarp, I think, but when it was all said and done, that was one of the most weirdest experiences that I've had. Now, there is no perfect person out there. I make mistakes. Other people make mistakes all the time. You roll into things. Like Junior with me, I got picked up off the ground. I was shaking like this. Mike had the same experience. We both got to experience it, and it sends you think that you are playing with a full deck. Oh, I got this figured out, and the reality is you don't. If you've never experienced Sasquatch in the wild, literally been in their backyard, camping in their backyard, you have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea. You have no idea what it's like when you go into the forest. Not a clue. Not a clue. We put our mind and body out there to experience what happens in the forest of Colorado. Or there's researchers that are in Washington State, and they're dealing with a totally different breed of Sasquatch. And then you've got the ones that are maybe in Northern California or in California in general. And you got the ones in Canada or Oregon or Nebraska or wherever. You're going to run into a different type of Sasquatch. I ran into a group. I'm pretty sure that they call them the Momo down in Missouri. I don't know where they got Momo from, but that's what they're called down there. And I got to hear some pretty strange things in a forest where I was hiking around on my own. And I heard these thud sounds, almost sound like someone was chucking trees. And you could just hear this loud thud, 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 thud. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I heard some vocal screams, and they were charging through the forest just a little bit to my right. I can't. When I'm in a flat area like Missouri or Nebraska, north, south, east, and west doesn't mean anything to me unless I'm looking at a compass. But they went running off to my right. And I was like, they're running through the forest like it doesn't exist. I mean, they were just hauling through it. I thought that was kind of crazy. But there are moments that no one's perfect. And like when I was lifted in the air and I smacked the tent, I said, knock it off. The juvenile Sasquatch let me go, and I hit. There's things that I made mistakes on. That's one of the things. Giving Junior cookies was a mistake. I should never have done that. And yet I got to experience the reason why. Mike got to experience the same reason. And I doubt very much he's going to hand out cookies to Sasquatch ever again. Or he never did it. I did it. But nobody, like I said, nobody's perfect. It's fun to pick on, like I can pick on myself all day long. And I guess I got to be careful about who I pick on. So I'm not going to pick on that individual. But there are things that, because you're in the Bigfooting world, you're subject to it, to any and all things. I know for a fact that I've been picked on by her on her vlogs. I know it because people have told me this. They read or they watch. I don't know how a vlog works. Maybe this is like a vlog. I don't know. But she does that. And if someone brings up my name, she cuts me down right away. And I know that's fact by the people that are telling me this stuff. So I'm going to kill off that last video just for that very reason, even though The story on it, I think is justified. But that video has been pulled. I won't release that one. I'll just kill it off and bury it. I think that's fair to her, because it's not fair to just target certain people. But there are certain attributes you got to look out for. And, you can follow me. That's great. If you don't want to follow me, that's fine too. But these are my stories, and I think I'm going to call it like that. So I will wait to hear from Jim, because he's the one who's giving me some advice in my little ear on this side. I would say he's the angel on my shoulder telling me, don't do that. So, okay, Jim, hear ya. I'm going to change it up. So I'm going to talk about some of the positive sides of the attributes you want to look for. And I'll throw in some things without naming people, the negative sides of things. And that might be the better way of doing it. So my name is Patrick. This is Sasquatch in the Wild. And this would have been Bigfooting 101 and attributes of this researcher. One of my best attributes is humor. And I really try to bring humor to everything. So if you like what you see, great. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. If you don't want to subscribe, and move along. That's fine. Talk to you later.